That's the curse of the live stream, that you have to kind of wait a little bit until the other people arrive. But yeah. Hmm. Good morning. So I made a poll and I asked you guys to vote which topic you want for like the last live stream, because I think I'm not gonna be able to make another one after this. So yeah, this is probably going to be the last live stream. And I asked you what you want for a topic, and it was like all sorts of different things: mindfulness, sustainability, and yeah, minimalism ranked like the top topic. You wanted that, so minimalism is going to be, hmm, in lack of a better topic. Like I have actually also nothing else that I would like to talk about. So because you guys already asked me all that private stuff, and now you know or you don't, depending on whether or not you watch the stream. Mm, so yeah, let's do this. I thought it would be interesting to talk about one thing that Matt Diavella said in one of his videos. I don't know what it was, but I know that some German person wrote an article about it, and he basically said like, if you have like a lack of commitment, then whatever, that's bad. So and minimalism is about commitment, or if you can't hack it in life, yeah, it's basically about commitment. And the German dude or person or whatever, they wrote in their article something like, "Oh, commitment, what a snob," and yeah, kind of they were pissed about um, the way he said that. But I actually think it's an interesting thing, commitment and minimalism. I mean, commitment in anything really, but this was particularly funny because this dude just, he was so angry in the article. I wish I could read it to you. I don't have it anymore. It was like a German article, and so it doesn't make sense to read it anyway. But it was basically about, look at this giant hipster snob, like, and I mean, yeah, that's what he is. I guess that's his internet persona, style, whatever. Like, so if you don't like that, don't watch the video. I don't watch the videos because personally, I don't like the polished style. I like more like, um, I mean, if it's like good filmmaking and good video, I prefer it like in the style of Peter McKinnon, I guess, or who else? Yeah, I just like it if it's not, um, if there is not so much focus on kind of the look of the video and the filmmaking, but more like on the scenery and what's actually being filmed. Because sure, you can make like a great high quality shot from a lame object, but I prefer if the object isn't lame. So that's why I like Peter McKinnon and his style a little bit better than Matt Diavella. And like I think it's normal, not every YouTuber can be your bottle of beer. Mm. Yes, that's an idiom that I just made up. So anyway, commitment. So I think it's funny, because I'm not a very committed person. I mean, to things like being a minimalist or being an extreme minimalist or going there again or something like that. I am not that myself, I don't think so. Um, and that is why I got it over with pretty fast. In the beginning, I had so much stuff, like my whole room was completely filled with stuff. You couldn't you couldn't see the floor. So I mean, I didn't sit down and be like, hey, I will commit to this cause and make it my thing to let go of all these things and be completely aware and mindful and intentional about it. And no, I didn't do that. I just looked at my stuff one day, I didn't like it, I felt disappointed, and I ordered a container. And then when the container arrived, I was like, okay, I have 2 days, let's go. Because tomorrow the container will be, well, gone. So that works. Like, there was no commitment in that. I mean, sure, at this point you could say like, oh, I am going to be the person that is actually so lame and so undisciplined that they even in the face of having a container in their front yard be like, oh no, I can't do it. Like, yeah, sure, that asshole probably exists out there. But like, if you're not being an ass to yourself, you're probably gonna come up with some solution and get out like the majority of your stuff. mm. And I have to say, I got rid of all of the stuff, like at least all that I wanted. And so I don't think it's that hard, because if you've seen that pile, and I'm not like, as I said, I'm not a committed person. I'm more like a lazy person, and I don't like to say, okay, I will do this August next year, and I'm totally going to be there. Like, I even hate it when people say, let's meet up next week Sunday, 2 p.m. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if my kid will be still asleep. So, I mean, can you come to my place? Or, hey, can we do that in the evening? Um, and so I'm not the person to cancel like 5 minutes before we meet, but I like to have some sort of flexibility. And so this set in stone kind of commitment, that's not my thing. I'm also not flexible myself, like the others have to be, okay? So just to be clear, when it comes to being like spontaneous, like, I have no problem with showing up at your door, but you show up at my door. Like, don't expect it to be like anything clean or me being awake, okay? So it's just like, I won't mind though, I think that friendship is, if you have like a problem, you can show up at the doorstep of your friend like pretty much whenever. Like, I don't think that if you are a good friend, um, like, that's the criterion, as in, your friend should be able to show up at any time at your place. So, and if you feel like you don't have that person, and you feel like you are not that person, then you suck at being a friend. Like, no, seriously. Um, you all think I'm funny, but I'm not. Like, I mean it. Mm. If you're not that person that says like, it's okay if you wake up my friend and my kid at night, me, my husband, my kid, whatever. If you're not that person that says it's okay, you wake us all up at night because you having an identity crisis, well, yeah, then you're a shitty friend. You're supposed to be that. I mean, and I feel like we outgrow this phase, as in becoming these 40-year-old 40 somethings that just stand above all this and be like, oh no, that just can't happen, and yeah, in that case I will just deal with it like an adult. I feel that people who say that, they have never even started the process of becoming an adult. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Yeah, I'm gonna throw a party when I'm turning 40. It's not that long from now, so 3 years. So I'm gonna throw a big fat party and be the least adult person in the room. And but I'm going to try not to be drunk because I don't like drinking. But yeah, that's going to be a problem. How am I going to be super super silly and not drunk at the same time? Hmm. I gotta plan that one better. But let's see. Just just need some coffee. Anyway, by the way, I'm getting better. So something was working out. Back to this minimalism thing. Um, Commitment is not something that has to be this boring, I am an adult person crap. Like, no. No, you don't have to be that jerk that makes everybody else feel like a dumb kid. You can be that person who's just like, the old soul. Like, not that. I have a friend, and he's like, so he was always like this studying person who was always studying, and me kind of too. But I was also a partying person. So like, not I'm not big time into partying, but I like to go out and have fun. As in, I don't know, have a beer with a friend and be out late and not go to bed before 3 p.m. just, because the next day will be exhausting. Because that's the kind of stuff you gotta do before you're 25. Well, and I was already 26 when I started uni. So I had to do that. And the thing is that um, I never wanted to be my friend. My friend, he was always like, just always studying, never having any fun. Not any. Not any fun. No lady friend, no boyfriend, no fun friend. Just being there all day studying. And I mean, not even having like the best grades because of that. Average grades, could have done that with less work. So, and he was this old soul, as in I was like, yeah, I'm committed to this, and I booked this time, and I'm gonna be that time at the library from this time to that, from 2 to 4, and whatever. And whenever I asked, like, hey, you want to do something together? He was like, oh yeah, I really want to, but I booked the library for this day. And I'm like, you can't book the library. It's like open, everyone can just go. And yeah, so at some point I kind of lost track, and it wasn't like, as I said, a friend should be someone you can turn up on their doorstep at night, and they will let you in and make you a coffee, but or tea, or maybe give you something to sleep. So, but anyway, that was not that person, so we did not become best friends. And so I don't ever want to be that. You can be responsible without being a jerk, Like, there is a secret to it. The secret is just don't be a jerk. Like, and if a lot of people make this face when you say something, you're probably being a jerk. Like, if people making this face, like, uh-huh, yeah, sure. That face, remember that face. Like, I'm not good at faces, but I've seen it in movies, and I tried to resemble it, and I have a screen here to control my facial expression, and I think I nailed it. So, and if you see that face, no matter how bad you are at understanding facial expressions, if you see that one, run and change your personality. Anyway, so, and the same goes with minimalism. Like, it's just minimalism. Don't be so damn serious about it. It's just like a thing. It's not like your life's philosophy and all your personal, like what you are as a human depends on being a minimalist or not. Like, if you take all of that out of that, it's not very balanced. Okay, so I mean, human is what, like, the sum of everything that you do and everyone that you have been with and are with and plan to be with. So, I mean, for instance, I am about my stuff. I'm a materialist. I like my stuff. Like, I even like these flowers. I hate to see them go. My kid brought them in, and look at these nice little flowers. And it looks like there's a little beetle on here, but it's just like the centerpiece. I have no clue what that is, but it has probably like a crucial part in the reproduction of this plant. But yeah, those are pretty cute, and I have no allergies, zero. Like yeah, penicillin, but who cares? That's not relevant. Um, and yeah, so the what I was talking about. So yeah, minimalism is just like the small part. It's not about you and the flowers. It's just you and the stuff, the clutter. Like, and then I see so many people making videos about like the mental aspects of minimalism, which should really be more dealt like in a way that you like talking about neurotic tendencies and OCD tendencies and that kind of thing. That would be really interesting, like hearing a psychologist's take on minimalism, because so many minimalists or people who want to be minimalists come into that with a certain set of issues that are just so classic. Like, and if one of you, if one of that following that I'm gonna name describes something that you got, like just put in a coffee emoji below. Like for everything that you can relate to and you feel like yeah, just coffee it. So like daddy or mommy issues, overbearing mother or father. And next would be like um, never having been a tidy person, always having had a problem with putting order, so basically being a disorganized person. Attachment issues, maybe mom or dad lost their job, had problems with finding a new job, didn't have time to take care of their toddler. Then the next would be what's the cliche next? Some drunk or other junkie in your family also goes with the attachment issue here. Um, that one, if you can cross that one off, just put in a coffee emoji. For each one, I want to see a coffee emoji so we can keep it anonymous, but we will have like a list of who got the most issues. Okay, so then the next thing would be fear of missing out, if you ever experienced that, or maybe your mother or father did and were like always chasing an opportunity. Then the next very classic thing with a lot of people who tend to adore minimalism would be if you could never finish projects, especially hobbies. You started to learn the guitar, but you were never really good at it, or you started to to write your own book, your own poems, but you never went through and went to a poetry slam or a stand up or anything where you would be like on the stage and actually perform in what you did. Or the parents would also count if your parents did that, or your parents would just sign you up for stuff. Then the next would be military history, family history of being in the military, which always comes with attachment issues and um, less brain integrity, as in people who are in the military tend to rationalize, over rationalize, and not emotionally connect. They have a hard time acknowledging their own emotions, so they don't do that with their kids, and they don't teach their kids how to do that, which makes them be very unsuccessful later in life. Only if they go to the military, then they will have be more successful, probably, because that's what happens if you have a tiger mom. A tiger mom is cross the coffee cup if you had a tiger mom. Um, so tiger mom is basically the kind of mother you do not want, because what they do is they essentially push their kids to be like very educated and but not think for themselves. So the kids will accumulate a lot of knowledge but not become independent, creative, and basically enjoying their life. Like if you tiger mom your kid, you damage them. Okay, so and if you do like the opposite, give your kid choices, find a way to teach them about how to resonate with their own emotions, to describe their own emotions. Like, people always think that emotions are a weakness and that you have to deal with them, but the truth is that emotions are indicators of something being like a spike, like good or bad off. Like, something can be off, like in a good way, then you're super happy. If you're too happy, you might go completely overboard, injure yourself. If you are too sad, you might go completely down some dark hole, injure yourself, like mentally or physically. Um, but essentially, emotions have always to be tuned in with by the parent. From like a kid, the parent has to tune into the emotional state of a kid, especially in that early age where all the attachment is done and all the um, emotional development is done and all the, yeah, kind of deep sitting illnesses like borderline and whatever just arise. That state, you want to be able to connect with your kid on the emotional layer, an emotional what is it called, level first. Okay, so you want to be able to do that, and then you want to turn on your like frontal cortex. You want to bring in the rational thoughts and that kind of thing. But if you can't connect with someone, it goes for adults as well, but a lot of times it might not work because you don't have the time to make it work. For instance, like with your boss, yeah, like you have an angry boss, you can't go to them like to your toddler and be like, you seem angry, and then you will bite your head off. Like, it will not do you much good. But with your kid, you can prevent them from becoming your angry boss later, or someone else's angry boss. So, and the military families always have this problem that they bite back emotions, and instead of teaching the kids, like, yeah, tell me your emotion, name it to tame it, let's talk about it, and let's actually feel the emotion, acknowledge it, and then deal with it. They are more like, let's deal with it. Like, and that happens like in a lot of families. Just doesn't have to be necessarily military, but the most case studies that I've seen have been on military families. But anyway, did I mention everything? Let's go through some other. Oh yeah, OCD parents, also OCD-ish parents, or germ phobic parents, like the ones that pop out the ethanol every single time the kid gets a little dirty. Um, that would be one. And restrictive gender roles, also, like, that's a good one. Like, everything restrictive basically. So, and if you can cross that off, chances are, like, you cross some of these off, chances are you need to break free. You feel like you have to break free from restrictions. And how do you do that with minimalism? Well, minimalism is essentially to rid yourself of material restrictions, because, you know, material restrictions are basically things. So, and convenience is not that nice that it justifies all the restrictions. So, at the point when you start realizing that the convenience doesn't make you as happy um, as like the restrictions make you unhappy, that's when you feel like, yeah, I gotta change something. And that's when people naturally lean towards minimalism, because, yeah, it's a healing process. It's saying goodbye to all the restrictions, and in that way they change something about the patterns that they always had. And also, I feel like a lot of people who are disorganized, um, they have this need for an organized environment. Yeah, let me know. Yeah, I see your comment, but it hasn't become a whole sentence yet. Nope, I don't think so. Minimalists are not that way because they can't afford buying luxury goods. No, I don't think it's that. Like, just look at European minimalism. Like, yeah, sure, I know a few who just wanted to escape, like, being poor when they're old, and that is like a good motivation. That's also like a good reason, yeah. But you know how many people have the same problem, don't become minimalists? They just, like, that's a very practical and rational approach. But the emotional approach would be like, why is that person doing minimalism then? I mean, they could just stop buying stuff, you know? And even if you have a small apartment, you could basically put a lot of stuff in there and just like not care, like a lot of furniture. You just stop buying more stuff. Like, it's not that just because you pay less monthly rent, it all of a sudden all your problems are gone, you know. And the thing is that, yeah, I know a case actually, who wanted to be more free and have less stuff just to have more money, so have a little apartment and have more money. Or people who move to a tiny house and then say like, yeah, it's much cheaper than living in a big apartment because I have so much stuff that I need a big apartment. But look at the average person, like if they really had to downsize, like, I don't think it comes from these monetary issues. Like, that is the main, that is the main pressure point. I don't think so personally. But you can let me know what you think, what your opinion on that is, if you believe that a lot of people would choose minimalism to have like an affordable, yeah, have more access to affordable luxuries maybe, or basically because they have just monetary issues and they need to downsize. Yeah, well, I think that a lot of people who actually need to downsize don't downsize. So, oh, you like that one? Yeah, I like that one too. That's actually second hand. We got that from like a local uh, family here, from some family who didn't have space. They didn't have space for uh, a fridge because they got a kitchen like that, like a built-in kitchen, and they were so sad, like, oh, we gotta give away our beloved fridge. This thing knew it cost like a 4 digits number. I don't know what it actually cost, but it was, yeah, a lot. And I was like, we can't buy that one. But then I saw like a used one, less than half the price, a few hundred, and I was like, come on, let's get this thing. And yeah, dragging it up here like to the second floor was not fun, but I didn't do it myself, so I don't really know, but I've heard. mm. Okay, anyway, back to the whole minimalism thing. So basically, I think this comes from the same place where a lot of self-help content comes from. People want to heal, you know. They don't want treatment, they want healing. They don't want counseling, they want to understand themselves by themselves. They don't want, after they had like overbearing parents and a lot of restrictions in their life before, they don't want the therapist or someone to tell them what to do, how to be healthy, how to get better, how to change their life. They want to find out for themselves, so they turn to YouTube and they turn to self-help books, and they do all this stuff to make themselves feel better, and in some cases that really works because the knowledge is out there, and like 80% of it is right, I guess. I mean, there are a lot of crappy books, but still, if you take out of that what you need, you might succeed eventually and thrive. So yeah, I'm not completely contrary to self-help. I just think when it gets like too esoteric, hey, good morning, and too weird, then you should like take a step back and just be like, do I really need this? Because it's always an investment, and going like from stuff to like non-material investments and being like, oh, this is so much better. Yeah, you're still cluttering your life then. But yeah, I'm gonna need some water. See, my cough is better. actually, and all the snorting is also better. So yeah, if you got any questions about this topic, we were just talking about, um, like, is minimalism, is it required to be super committed to be a minimalist? Is it, and why people turn to minimalism essentially? And yeah, I was ranting a little bit about 40 somethings and their entitled way of talking down to people who are like 2 years younger or something. Yeah, that kind of stuff. And then I was talking about basically how every weirdo that ever existed, turns to the self help industry and, yeah, to minimalist YouTubers or whatnot to make things better in their life. There's nothing wrong with that. Just it's important to be aware. I just think it's important to be aware, and if you're a jerk, that's fine. You can always become a non-jerk, and it's a good thing to know when you're doing something weird. Like, I know that I'm doing something weird. I have a YouTube channel. Come on, like, it doesn't get any more cringy. So like, up to this day, I still think that, like, just having a YouTube channel alone already classifies you as like a weirdo. It's just like, it's inherent. You can't avoid that because, like, you're not a filmmaker, you're a YouTuber. Okay, so you're a weirdo. You're putting stuff on the internet for other people to read it and watch it, and yeah, your face is there. So I used to be a hoarder, and with so many stuff, it was hard to breathe. Then Marie Kondo started to popularize her method. And then what you do? How long did it take you, and how to do it? That'd be interesting. I mean, I wouldn't say that I was a hoarder. My mother would say that. But I don't think that I owned so much stuff. It was just all trash. Like, but I have been in some hoarder apartments. When I was like on the team of mobile nurses, which we had to do in my apprenticeship years. Like, we had to, yeah, work in like a nurse station. So you would have a car and drive around, like, just a mobile nurse craft, I guess. And we had to drive to various patients over, like, in the city where I worked, and just attend to them and give them their insulin shots, bathe them, whatnot. And there was this one hoarder lady. Brace yourself, like, and we had to put band-aids on her legs. And so whenever we went into her apartment, um, yeah, she would sit down. Like, there was this hall going back to her living room. It was a single room apartment. Back there was a living room with a big wall of windows. You couldn't see the windows actually, but she had windows. Everyone had windows. It was boxes in front of the windows there. Then in the hall, there would be like garbage sacks, like, just, yeah, basically her garbage was piling up in this plastic bags, the whole wall, and it was like a 3 meter wall, so higher than this wall. Um, and it was just like one side completely just garbage bags. And then on the right side, when she came in, there was this door to her bathroom, and we would come in and just go like real quick. She would already sit on the toilet, and we would like make her legs fresh, like give her fresh band-aids and put lotion on her legs, clean her feet, and then be in and out in like 5 minutes. And it was always like my colleague, she was a senior nurse, and she said, like, okay, the first time we went in there, she said, like, hold your breath, like, get as much as you can now when we're still out here, hold your breath, and then let's move fast. And she said, like, she can do it in 2 minutes, and I was like, I always took 5 minutes, and I was just like, well, whatever, I'm just gonna sit it out. How bad can it be? I'm not gonna play this hold your breath game. Yeah, boy, I only said that once, like famous last words. I was so wrong. Yeah, I did hold my breath every single time after that. I went in that shithole. It was so bad. And I remember that the tiles in her bathroom were black and her toilet seat was also black. And I was like, I said to her, like, oh, that's inconvenient. Like, I wanted to say something nice and I just didn't have anything to say. So I said, like, you got a cool bathroom, like, black toilet seat. I like that. Black tiles. And she said, like, yeah, they're not actually black, they're pink. Like, holy shit. They were pink ones, I guess. Then they looked totally black. Like, the whole bathroom was black. Anyway, that was my experience with one of the many hoarders that I encountered in my life. And I think the difference between someone who has just too much stuff and is like lazy and doesn't really have like a big issue, like, um, and a hoarder, that's neglect. Like, hoarders essentially neglect themselves and have been neglected probably before by someone else, so they don't know how to take care of themselves. Because um, usually what you learn from your parents is like, for instance, a good example is homework or reading. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of parents stop reading to their kids as soon as they start reading. That's wrong. Don't ever do that. You're a bad parent if you do. Like, you gotta read to them for a long time, at least until they are 12 years old. You gotta read them stories, okay? Because you're gonna help them internalize that. Same goes for homework. As soon as they can do their own homework, don't leave them alone. Don't leave them alone. You gotta check the homework, because what their brain will learn and internalize is that I gotta check, okay? It's just you are doing that, you are showing them that, and then they kind of, for a long time, for years, they have to see that until it becomes so second nature to them that even when you are away, they will check themselves and they will check, have I done my homework, okay? And that will help them later in university. So, like, I don't know what you've got planned for your kid, but I've got planned for mine as she goes to university. Like, that would be like the best case. And the worst case would be like, yeah, maybe she does like a crappy apprenticeship like me and then go to university. Yeah, that would probably be the worst case, but not super bad, I guess. But anyway, you gotta have some dream, okay? That's not nothing's wrong with that unless you know, just don't push it on them. But parents, it's allowed to have a dream. So, okay, I'm gonna read the other comments now. So anyway, oh yeah, what I wanted to say before I finish that, before we move on to the comments. The thing is that the important thing is that kids internalize the behavior that they are shown. So if you show them like, I will test your homework, then they will later test themselves. And if you and with the hoarders and neglect, it's like, if they are shown neglect, they will expose neglect to others, towards themselves, basically, and you will make them an unhappy little person. So and it's really hard to break that kind of deep rooted learning. Like, you probably need behavioral therapy to do that, and self help won't cut it. But yeah, in some cases, people use like behavioral therapy methods in self help and just cover them in some nice, friendly, simple language. You can try that, but I personally believe that the most efficient way to deal with deep shit is just therapy, because therapy is faster. It's like, it's just more efficient because it's more painful. And yeah, I mean, unless you re-traumatize people, that's wrong. But usually, I think the best thing is to really go through it as fast as you can, get it over with, and yeah, move on to have a life. So where are the comments? Come on, comments, come here. Oh yeah, there you are. It took me 2 years. I partly blame Amazon for the good deals and the secondhand marketplaces. Oh yeah, the marketplaces. I remember those. By the way, hi to Finland. Finland is also so cool. Like I can only partially read. I know that was Norwegian. I can't read Finnish. Like no. Like I'm not Hungarian, so I don't know any Finnish. But yeah, cool country. I'm going to visit it someday because when I move to Scandinavia, I'm not going to be close yet. Like I wanted to say something. I'm going to be closer. Yeah, but it's so like, have you seen Sweden? It's like a huge country. Oh no, you're all Americans, so yeah, average medium sized country. Okay, so not super small though. Actually it's pretty big, pretty big. So Sweden, Norway, pretty big. So let's move on. Like, yeah, Amazon. So I agree. I used to buy a lot on Amazon too, but not too much because back then we didn't have Prime, and you had to pay like a lot for shipping. So, by the way, I think so many people have Amazon Prime but don't make any use of it. That shit is that's expensive. But people don't use the free storage. They don't watch the movies. Like I'm not saying you can get that for free from a Russian server, but like who would do that? It is so illegal. But I mean, like people don't make the most use out of that. Like, and if you don't order 3 times a month, you don't need Amazon Prime. Like, if you just take it for ordering cheap and not paying shipping. So let's see, what are the comments? Okay. I don't understand your comment. You have to elaborate on what your sister is mad about. Like someone's writing, um, yeah, here, person from Finland is writing. I'm not gonna try to say your name. Also, maybe you want to delete your comment later. So I always like to keep people anonymous. So my sister makes me feel guilty that I am. That you are what? Not good sister. Hey, don't hate on your sister. You only have one sister, maybe, or two or three. Doesn't matter. They are all unique, and you shouldn't hate on them. She wanted me to be 24/7 available. I have my kids and life, but she comments rudely. Your sister wants you to be there, but what does that have to do with my live stream? Like, I like to help you, but it doesn't seem like it's related to the topic of development, self help, minimalism, commitment, and like the topic of the live stream. But you feel free to comment more, and maybe I will have some insight. But usually boundaries, as in boundaries work like this: you instate them, then you keep them up. For instance, with my kid, let me give you an example. And I say like, let's make it about minimalism, okay? So I say to my kid, well, we gotta get rid of your birthday crown. And she's like, no, I like my birthday crown. Consistency means you get rid of the birthday crown, you tell your kid 3 times about it, you say, well, it's not your decision, we got too much stuff, it has to go, say goodbye to it, you will have a new one next year. And you be kind, like not like me right now, like there it goes, kiss your birthday crown goodbye. Don't do that, it's mean, it's unnecessary. But like my kid and I, we discuss this stuff on a regular basis, and then you establish some sort of routine rules. It's always the same. It always comes up to you have some options, but you don't have all the options, and I am the adult, and essentially it's my decision. Because that's also a lot of people mistake this. I talked about tiger moms before, and tiger moms being completely overbearing, being completely controlling, whereas the opposite, laissez-faire, or basically being like too much into the whole attachment theory, if people overdo it on both sides, it's not good. Also, there's not too much scientific evidence that attachment parenting is as good as it claims to be. So be mindful of that. Like a lot of people don't like to hear that, but actually, if you look at a lot of the evidence, and if you look at the origins, especially of the attachment parenting theory, well, there's some questionable stuff there. Just Google that yourself, maybe, and see what you think about that. But anyway, the thing is that you always have to be in balance. And also, minimalism is about balance, and boundaries are about balance. Just, people have normally, if you haven't been brought up in like the worst of circumstances, you would have like a feeling of what good and bad and right and wrong is, okay? And if you feel guilty or weird or put off by something, it's probably an indicator something's wrong, okay? So use that and um, use it to communicate the problem that you have with someone or something. And so, boundaries. Set your boundaries. If you don't want your sister in your life all the time, well, for instance, my parents, they used to call me on a daily basis. I didn't want that. I said, like, I want to call once a week. They didn't listen to me while I turned off my phone. What they gonna do? Show up at my doorstep like 500 kilometers away? I don't think so. Well, they did, but they only did that once because I wasn't there that weekend. Okay? So, that's communication. They will learn the hard way. Just be kind. You can teach someone something the hard way, but still be kind at the same time. I know it sounds undoable, but it is. Just come up with a solution before you do it, and don't be like, oh, I do that when I get there. Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. Anyway, I think not everyone has seen the beautiful flowers yet. Here they go. Yeah, let's put them in the frame here. That's nice, right? I like that. So, oh man, already almost 50 minutes. It's like time. If you like the stuff that I said, then please give me a thumbs up. Here I am begging for your thumbs. No, not really. Just don't do it if you don't like it. Give it a dislike if you don't like it, and or do nothing if you really didn't like it. Then do nothing. Because that is like the worst thing that you can do to a YouTuber, is just click off the video and not even give like a thumbs up or thumbs down or a comment. Like, we don't care if you give us like hate comments. It's all interaction and it serves the algorithm. But if you just click off like after 5 seconds and not even leave anything, that is like the worst thing you can do. Like, if you have a YouTuber that you really don't like and you want to hurt them, then you do that. You just go click on their videos and click off, and yeah, then you will basically hurt their engagement or anything, their retention rate. And if you do that like 100 times, it will really go down. Like, Google doesn't like that. So yeah. Anyway, and again, back to the whole commitment topic. Commitment. I don't know what Matt Diavella really meant by saying that, as in, set a goal and stick to it, probably. It's such a wishy-washy term. Commitment is something, it's tiger mom vocabulary. It comes from this place of thinking that if you want it hard enough and if you set your mind to it, or if you have just hit rock bottom, um, then you will be able to pull it off, whatever it is, like the hard thing you can do. No, being able to pull something off mostly depends on consistency. Like, I've studied one of the hardest things that there are in the university. I think chemistry is harder than physics, and mathematics also is, because chemistry is a lot of learning by heart. And I am not good at that. I'm more like a logical thinker, and I can remember, oh yeah, when I do this, then I can deduce that, and I'm really good at deductions, but I'm not so good at learning a lot of facts from fact sheets. Like, I suck at that big time. So, and having said that, I can only say that consistency is the one thing that will get you through a really competitive program, like any competitive thing. that you need to do. Like I think after like one semester, more than half of the students were gone, and then after another one, the number was further reduced. And so yeah, I mean, our mathematics professor, like he did this jerk thing that everyone does in uni. Like there's always this one professor who does that. It's like, look to your left, look to your right. One of these people will be gone next year. It's like, yeah, fuck you. It's not gonna be me. Yeah, it was actually the person who sat next to me, and the other person I don't remember. So they also weren't there. So, like, yeah, I did it. Like, I mean, I wasn't like a perfect student, but I was not one of those who were gone like after a year. And does that have to do with commitment? Maybe, but maybe I was just desperate. I was an old student. I had given up my job. I had no money, and I basically had to do this in order to get another job. Otherwise, I would have ended up being a nurse again, and that was something I definitely did not want. I remember that at the time, my favorite song was Johnny Cash Won't Back Down. And this Won't Back Down song, I would always listen to it whenever I was like in a rut. I was like, yeah, we're going back down. I'm not gonna back off, I'm not gonna back down from this. So yeah, whenever someone was giving me crap, I would listen to that song. Also, I really like Johnny Cash. Like, I think at the time he was like my favorite artist. And yeah, we're not gonna make this about my taste in music now. But anyway, so being desperate and being super committed emotionally helps with the initial steps, with starting the process. It sure helps. But what helps more is having consistency. And having consistency comes from you having had parents that cared for you. So this is the hard part, and this is why a lot of people fail at going through with whatever. It doesn't mean if it's like what you study or minimalism or really anything in life, like learning a language, anything that needs um, time. Okay, anything that needs time will be harder to do if you had crappy parents that didn't teach you how to be a self-sufficient person. You know, so and that's what I said with the homework. Your parents always, if they were always there to check on your homework and be like, okay, show me what's in your school bag and show me what's in your homework, little homework, what is it called? Like the little notebook, what the teacher give you. Um, so if they didn't do that, you will not do that. So, and later you will not hold yourself accountable for anything if they didn't hold you accountable. So you gotta learn that from scratch, I guess. And I'm not a behavioral therapist, so I'm really not at liberty or I'm really not at expertise to say much about this. I've read a lot about uh, other aspects of therapy and I work with patients, but behavioral therapy is not my strong suit. I'm more like into psychoanalysis and like the whole screw your mother thing, okay? So I can help you with understanding that, the theory of that, but I don't want to say anything wrong, so just everything I say, take it with like a grain of salt and look it up yourself. But I think that in order to kind of reprogram yourself or to make yourself better, it's like a long, long process of consistent improvement. So, and the consistency that you can find in yourself is strongly connected to the discipline you can put up long term. And discipline is the hardest thing to learn. And trust me, it's not what you learn in the military. Like, a lot of people might think that discipline is like following rules to the T and executing like things that you were being put up to, but there is nothing passive about discipline, okay? So, and this passive kind of discipline that's obeying rules and following orders, That's not really discipline, that's avoiding punishment, okay? But what you do is you will go for like a long term reward. And going for a long term reward is much, 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 much fucking 10 times harder than going for a short term punishment. Like if you're an officer or if you are a cadet or something in the military or whatnot, you want to avoid short-term punishment, being kicked out of the program, being on the street not having a job, or being punished, having like some sort of, what's it called, um, investigation going on because you broke some rule that you because you're stupid. So you want to avoid being stupid, you want to avoid punishment, you want to avoid that kind of stuff. You're not going for the reward. I mean, some might like, I want to be general, or some might go like, I want to be a forensics expert or something, like I want to study in the military academy. Like some might thrive on that, but these are the exception. Like I'm just going with this military example because I know something about that, but just you can use it with everything. You can use it with school, okay? So like there are students, like a lot of students probably just they are fueled by avoidance of punishment. Like I don't want to have a D or an E or an F. Like I don't want to have like a bad grade. So I don't want to be told by the teacher in front of the whole class that I fucked up this class. I'm really bad at it. No, everyone knows. And so everyone who is always like, oh, I miss having all the names on the blackboard with everyone who screwed up this test so badly, and like everyone who said that, like and be like, oh, this is so motivating. No, it's not. Like it makes sense to put up like the first three names that were like the best students. Yeah, that makes sense. That will be motivating. It's positive. But the other one, that's just punishment. So punishment is essentially not motivating. It's just like punishment leads to avoiding behavior, and avoiding behavior essentially leads to problematic behavior. Because what you do if you avoid is you concentrate on the problem and not on the solution. Like you're not trying to make your solution, as in your strategies to survive, better. You're trying to make your strategies to avoid better. Survive. Maybe you are concentrating so much on avoiding the punishment that you are not concentrating on getting the reward, if that makes sense. So, and in that kind of thing is just, in long term, I believe this leads to self destruction, self damaging, and inhibiting. So people who are used to this kind of behavior from their parents, as in neglect if they don't perform and that kind of stuff, um, they concentrate on the wrong things later in life, and then they self-sabotage, as in they concentrate on pleasing their boss with um, like bringing in a lot of hours, staying long, working a lot, working hard. That's wrong. That's just, it will not lead you to be like a good employee, or a happy person. Like I've stopped doing that a long time ago. Like after 6 hours I check my emails, okay? I don't do any hardcore research anymore. Like my brain is not made to do it. I will not do it. It doesn't make sense. And I have something that's called integrity. So I will not make myself do something that doesn't make sense to me and I know it, just because someone else will then maybe think highly of me, but that's not even a proven thing. It's just my perception of the situation. So I will not have myself being tricked into some stupid behavior because society thinks so. Okay? And neither should you. So anyway, yep, I think that's all I have to say about this stuff. If you have any more questions, now is the time. If you don't, well then cool. I hope I answered some of your questions, or if not, then I hope it was at least entertaining for you. When it comes to minimalism, I think my biggest tip is to start and to get it over with as fast as you can, because then you don't need so much discipline. And I think a lot of people mistake, as I said, active behavior with passive obedience. So discipline is very active. It is something that you get from being proud of yourself, and that you get from knowing that you can do something because you are actually a good person, and you know that you are inherently meaning well, and you want to succeed, and you want it for yourself because it makes you a better person. It feels good, and you will help others by doing that, and that is something that makes you thrive, it makes you happy. That is essentially like a good internal motivation, as compared to something that comes from the outside, as in, I want to prove to the society that I'm disciplined. I want to prove to the society that I can do this or that. No, no. What you essentially want, what you should want, is to feel good about your decisions and feel the integrity. Because trust me, there is no feeling as good as knowing that you have integrity. Trust me. Like, that is the one thing you want to go for, without this weird pride of like, I'm better than someone else, you know? Like, essentially, you don't want that. You don't want that comparison. What you want is to have a good feeling about a decision. As in, when you gave someone a donation, or you gave someone a book, and no one would thank you for it, but you knew it was like the right thing to do, or like to have someone give a present, or you don't get like bonus points from society for doing it, but you donated something to someone. I'm saying book because I gave someone a book once, and it was like really it felt good to do that. So that was just in my mind when I was recollecting this, and I was looking for an example. But yeah, that book meant a lot to that person, I think. So but in a situation, there was no one there who said like, oh, well done, Undine, well done, good job, like, you're a good human. Like, so if you're not under surveillance and you're still doing the right thing, then you know you got it, okay? And that's the thing you should go for. As in, when no one's watching, like, maybe you're a religious person and you think that someone's watching, but that is also not moral superior, you know, morally superior. Trust me, the most superior thing that you can reach is that you do the good thing, even if nobody's watching, not even something you believe in or someone, not even, you know, it's just, it has to be inherent, because when it's inherent, you have internalized it, and then you basically have internalized to be less of a jerk. All right, so get what I'm saying? Okay, I hope this was clear. I really like these kind of topics, but they are a lot. There's so much more to this. There is so much more to the whole topic of child development, behavioral development, and so on. And I think I could fill like 5 different evenings with that, and probably more. But there is no time for that. So get me to. Yep. But see, I think I coughed only like 5 times this time. It's getting better. Yeah. Anyway, okay. I think I said everything I wanted to say. And when I say that, I know the videos usually go on for another 10 minutes, but this time I'm gonna finish my coffee, and then I'm going to air the room, let in some of the sunlight and the air, because it's really nice here. And I also have to deal with this one. Like, that's from last week. See, I will never get to the point where I put flowers away right away, like when they're getting dry and ugly. Like, I will never be that person, and that's fine. You know, I'm not going for that perfection. And if you are interested in the damage of perfection, watch a video of a YouTuber called Truthless. He's like one of my favorite YouTubers, and he has a really great video called, I think, the 70% rule about perfectionism. and just really I urge you to watch that one because it's just so good. And if I ever edit this, if I ever come around to edit this description, I will put it in it so you can watch it. And yeah, anyway, thank you for being here. Thanks for everyone who gave me pity likes or pity dislikes. You're really helping out the channel. And yeah, so, and everyone who watched this afterwards and went through with the whole thing, wow, you're a badass. So I hope you did the dishes while doing this or something other than something else that was useful. So anyway, thank you thank you everyone for being here. This is probably the last live stream. I'm not sure if I can do more tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, but if you want me to, please let me know in the comments. If you want to vote for another topic, go to the poll in the community tab of my channel, and there you can basically just put in suggestions for the next video, as in the question that you want answered. And yeah, then I will maybe do that.